This is Gabe from FluentForever.com. In this video, I'll show you 3 modifications you can make to the ear training flashcards in your pronunciation trainers. I don't exactly recommend these modifications, and we'll talk about why when we get there. But some of you have requested these options, and so I want to show you how to get them. These are your trainers after all, and to the extent that I can, I'd like them to work however you'd like them to work. So let me show you what I'm talking about. The ear training flashcards in your pronunciation trainers look like this. They play one word,
Bug,
in this case bug, ask you to choose which one you're hearing, and then when you press show answer,
bug,
it'll tell you, and play that word again. Now, some of you have requested some way to hear both words right after each other so that you can better compare them. This is possible, and there are 3 kind of decent ways of doing it. The first option is that as soon as you press the show answer button, it plays recordings of both words in order, first bug and then bog, instead of just the one you heard. So let's change that right now so you can see what it's like. We'll go to the browser and find this card. So you go to Browse, click. We're going to type in bug, hit enter, and then we'll see that there are 2 versions of this card. One version says bug on the backside and the other one says bog on the backside. We're going to click the Cards button, which lets us edit kind of what's on the global backside of all of my cards, front side too, and start playing around in here. So we're trying to change what happens when you go to the back side of the card. The front works just fine. We want it to play different recordings. Now, to edit this, we need to go to the back template, this area. And while this is code, it's actually not that hard to decipher. In this case, you can see that on the back side of the card, it says you heard bog, and then it plays a recording of bog. That's what we remember from earlier. And over here, you'll say you heard word 1. This is word 1, bog. And then it plays a recording of word 1, recording 1. And so instead of just playing recording 1, let's make it play recordings 1, bog, and then 2, bog. And all we have to do is write in curly bracket, recording 2, curly bracket. And that is all. We're just copying this format and then putting in recording 2. And at this point, it will play both cards. We have to do this actually twice. I'll show you why. This second card, the one that bog is on the backside, is actually a different kind of card. So we just have to do the same thing twice. In this case, you heard bog, you heard word 2, bog, recording 2. And so option 1 was we're going to play these 2 words in order of what we saw up top, because we want that to be consistent, because it seems to make sense on some level. So we're going to type in here, recording 1, curly bracket. And so now every time we hit the back side of the card, it will read these 2 words in order. So let's look at what this looks like. The first card says, do you hear
bug,
bug? We'll press show answer.
bug, bog,
And it will play both cards. And I actually don't have any problem with this card. I think it works just fine. And so if I say, okay, I get this,
door,
then I will hear this card.
door,
And now he's saying it in English, door. When I press show answer,
duh, door,
I hear both words, and for me, I have a problem with this because I hear the French door as soon as I see the English door, and I find that a bit confusing. So here's where option 2 comes in. Here's another option. You can make it play whichever word you see on the backside, in this case door, and then play both recordings, door and door. So let's make that happen. I'll hit browse. I'll search for door in this case. I'll hit cards. And instead of playing recording 1 and then recording 2, well, in this case, I heard word 2, so I want to play recording 2. Curly bracket, recording 2. And so now it's going to play recording 2, and then play recordings 1 and then recording 2. And we'll do that for the other card too. In this case, you heard word 1, and so we'll have it play recording 1, and then play recordings of both of these words. So that looks like this. Do you hear which word? We'll play the recording.
door,
I'm going to guess it's this one. Hit show answer.
door,
Dehors.
door,
And so I slightly prefer this option over option 1 in that when you see the word door, that is the word you hear first, and then it will play both of these words. My only issue with this option is that it's a lot of recordings to play all the time. Now every time I review a card, I have to listen to 3 recordings instead of just 1. So let's look at one last option, which may well be the best of your non-standard options. It might be a bit confusing at first, but once you get used to it, it may well be your best bet if you really like hearing the words back to back. Let's go back and find our door flashcards. And let's mess with this. So here's the card we've been messing with. And here we'll have it play recording 2 first, just as we want it to. We'll have it play door as soon as you see the word door. And then we'll have it play recording 1. Basically, it's going to play whatever word you see, and then it'll play whatever word you didn't hear. It's going to ignore this order and just play the word you heard, and then the word you didn't hear. We'll do that with the next card too, the other version. It's going to play, you heard word 1, it's going to play recording 1, and then it will play recording 2. And so if we go through a pair of these cards,
door,
he says door,
door,
Dehors.
and I hear both the English and the French.
Homme,
In this case, he said
homme, âme.
He's going to read both of these words. I think this option is honestly pretty good. My main issue with it is the main issue I have with all of these options. Every single time I've brought these kinds of flashcards to a workshop and had recordings of both words play, no matter which of the 3 options I choose, people got enormously confused and frustrated. They just couldn't tell which recording is supposed to correspond to which word. I mean, it would be great if there was some sort of animation, like this lights up as soon as he says but Anki doesn't let me do that, and so I ended up choosing just playing a single recording because that ended up being the clearest option and ended up being a lot less frustrating for people to get used to. So that being said, if one of the 3 options we went through seems to make intuitive sense to you, where you're going to see those flashcards and not be totally confused as to what you're hearing, then you absolutely have my blessing to go back and modify your decks accordingly. Just go back through the video, watch what I did, and copy it. It shouldn't take you more than a minute or 2. And that is it. Hopefully that helps some of you, and I will talk to you next time.